Hello and welcome to Talk Sport on Global Television. Indeed, we're excited because last night was a blast at the Euro 2024. It was the Three Lions of England against the Orange Boys, and indeed, it was one of the best matches the Three Lions of England had put forward for football fans across the globe. First of all, who drew the first blood? Like we say in Nigeria, it's not who calls the police that wins the case. And it was the Orange Boys who drew the first blood by scoring a very, very brilliant goal in the beginning of the matches and proceedings. And it took something special for the Three Lions of England. Talking about the man Harry Kane, captain of the team, to put the Three Lions back into contention with a very well taken, dispatched penalty, and it took something of brilliance by one man, Oli Watkins, to put to bed the struggles of the Three Lions of England, scoring at almost stoppage time to get the Three Lions cross the line to the finals of Euro 2024. So on Sunday, it's going to be the big clash between the Spaniards and the English army. So it's going to be truly amazing. One man who is going to tell us how he felt last night, and if he put his money where his mouth is no other person but Odi Samuel. Odi, against all expectations, you kept saying the Three Lions had not done the best. They were riding on luck. Last night was more than luck. It was God's soccer letting the best man win. You know,
I would say finally Southgate did what he was supposed to do, what he has supposed to be doing like since the inception of the competition, which is, playing players in their natural positions. We all saw it last night. He played players in their natural position and then introduced players that he has been keeping on the bench, into the game, and then we all saw the results. So this has just been the coach's fault all day, because the Three Lions have the quality. But yes, if he had continued with his normal pattern of try and error, they might probably be on their way back to England at this time. But now he did what he's supposed to do as a coach, play players in their natural position and introduce new players that he always starts in late second half. And then now we are seeing better results than what we usually see from the opening of the competition. So for the Three Lions now, congratulations to them, because finally, Harry Kane, we also said it yesterday that if Harry Kane can step up, he did step up. He had few chances, but the goalkeeper denied him at some point. And when he had a spot-on kick, he took it and then he netted the goal. So congrats to him. So I see a whole lot of controversies going on from the Dutch side. The fans are clamoring for penalties that were not given to them, and also one man was busy fighting in Uruguay after the Copa America quarterfinals between Uruguay and the Colombians. So congratulations to the Colombians for advancing to the final against Argentina, which will be happening this coming weekend as well. So it's just a whole lot that is going to be happening. This weekend is going to be packed with interesting matches, and coaches would want to do their best to have their teams win and then advance to maybe having trophies and then setting records for themselves respectively.
Let's look at for you, who were the outstanding players last night for the Three Lions?
Kobe Manu was outstanding. Cole Palmer was outstanding. Jude Bellingham was still there, and then Watkins also made history. Coming in late, and again he also predicted in one of the interviews. He predicted that he was going to score the winning goal, and then that was his night. Coming in 5 minutes before stoppage time, and then he had the opportunity to give it to his team, and then he did that. So these guys were outstanding. Jude Bellingham was also outstanding. Harry Kane was also outstanding. We saw a little bit of more aggression from him. He didn't make the job easy for Van Dijk, in the attacking front. So all of those things that we saw yesterday contributed to them winning the match last night.
All right. Also, looking at you said Southgate made some good changes, started the players he was supposed to start. Let's look at the time he made that substitution. What it seemed spot on. How key, and a lot of people expected when Harry Kane was taken off. Most people predicted Ivan Toney to be the player that came into the fore. What would that tell you, the fact that he didn't go for Ivan Toney, who had played and done well in previous matches, but he brought in only Watkins, who had not tasted action at all? Would you say it was a function of what Watkins had done on the pitch in terms of training pitch, or he just simply had read the match very well and had seen that the defense of the Dutch team was getting weak, and what he needed was a bully of a person, and Watkins was someone who had fitted that bill?
It's actually two ways, because one, Watkins have not featured at all through competition, and again, it boils down, like he said before the competition, he's going to invite players based on their performance. So he has seen his performance in the Premier League, and then he saw how clinical and how swift he is in terms of scoring. So now he needed someone who is actually strong, because the Dutch defense is a very, very strong line. So he needed someone who is strong, and not just being strong and not having sense. Being strong and then knowing when to use that strength and then, get the result that is needed. So that move was very, very, clinical, and then it was very smart and it was spot on, because one, is Ivan Toney strong? Yes, Ivan Toney is strong, but there's just a little edge above Ivan Toney that made Southgate feel, okay, if I should put Watkins at this position and at this time, I will get the result I'm looking for. So he went for that, and then he got the result that he was looking for.
Okay, let's look at the defense line of the Three Lions. Some people said the Three Lions that goal shouldn't have come in if the defense was solid, was rock solid, and did the right thing. Because if you look at Xavi Simons, he had an easy stroll into that defense line, and even scoring that goal, he was falling when he hit that ball. So it was also a lucky strike. How will you judge John Stones and the entire backline of the Three Lions?
I think I would say pressure. They were a little bit under pressure, in the early stages. They were just they were just being flat-footed, early enough in the game. But when they found and then got into the action, I think they finally saw we need, for us to be able to advance and get to the finals, we need to be more physical, we need to be more smart with our runs, and then watch our backline very well. So, this guy ran in, and then before they could recover, the striker is very swift and fast. Before they could recover, then he had already, it was late already. He has picked out a spot where he wants to kick the ball, and then he just went, and then he did what he needed to do, and then finally he got the goal that put them in front.
Okay, on the part of the Dutch side, would you say it was the fear of knowing that you were playing the English team that made them wither out? Because they scored first, they seem to have the upper hand somewhere along the line, but from nowhere, it seemed to have just fizzled out.
They took their foot off the gas, which is very wrong to do when playing any kind of competition. It is group stage, whatever. And again, when you're playing against team like the Three Lions, the England team now, you can't just score a goal and decide you can retire. No, they can come back. Despite the fact that they've not had a good Euro 2024, but they try to still fight, just like what happened before they advanced to the semi-finals. Slovakia scored first, but they now struggled, kept going till they got an equalizer, and then they kept going and then scored another goal in the extra time. That's what the Three Lions is about. They would always fight. They will keep fighting until they hear the final whistle. So that was what happened. I think the Dutch team now, slowed down and then took their foot off the gas. Doing that now opened more room for, the Three Lions to keep attacking. And again, Kobbie Mainoo was super amazing. He had that midfield under lock and key. 3 players defending him, and still he gets to still make good, accurate passes. Some critics has come out to say that Kobbie Mainoo is a teenager that has an adult body. So the way he plays this time around, he is a teenager, but he controls the midfield as if he's someone that has donkeys of years of experience in terms of playing. So that's just what he did. He was able to secure and make sure that the midfield was under lock and key, and then he destabilized the 3 other midfielders from the Dutch side, and then, they have the best love, and he's having an amazing celebration with his teammates.
All right, we couldn't help but talk about that very big encounter, talking about the Three Lions of England beating Holland last night by 2-1. We'll get back to that encounter before we wrap this game up, this program up, where we'll be looking at the final between England and Spain. But let's now begin from the home front, talking cricket. Let's say the Nigeria's male senior cricket team, the Yellow and Greens, are in Kenya to take on the Simbas in a 7-day bilateral series from Friday, July 12th till July 20th. Reports reaching us tells us that the series will be played in the T20 OD1 format. That's a 1-day test with 5 games in the former and 2 games in the latter. The Nigerian Cricket Federation on Wednesday released a 15-man squad for the series, with Captain Sylvester Okpe being joined by the trio of Isaac Okpe, Isaac Danladi, and Emmanuel Odekwe, who are currently engaged in the Zimbabwe National Premier League. Meanwhile, others include Peter Aho, who once held a Guinness World Record for the fastest bowling figures, wicket keeper Suleiman Ronsewe, and Elijah Olaleye. We also have Daniel Ajeku and Abdulmumini Mohammed also in the team. Prosper Useni is also part of the squad, while Joshua Asia and Vincent Adewoye also makes the team. Meanwhile, 3 other players, talking about Salim Saliu, who is also a wicket keeper, and we also have Ifeanyi Obo and Miracle Akigbe, who were also handed fresh call-ups into the squad. We are seeing the Yellow Greens move from strength to strength. We saw them join the junior team during the last African Games, and now the senior side, and with the call-ups into the team. And we have several Nigerians already playing in the Zimbabwe League. What does the future hold for cricket in Nigeria?
It holds a great future, because they are beginning to evolve and then traveling out to even play competitions now, which is very, very key to helping the sport itself grow. So the Federation of the Cricket now needs to create more awareness for kids, because we are all focused on just football or basketball or athleticism. There are other sports too that kids can venture into. The summer holidays are here, and then it's just going to be till September. So they need to infuse this into schools, introduce camps and trainings free for people to come and then participate. With all of this now, the future now of the cricket squad now would be bright, and then it will be growing better. Just looking at what the ladies did in all African games in Ghana, going there for the first time and coming back home with a bronze medal. So it's a good start for that angle. So if they can continue like this, that obviously we would be getting our team, our country guys who are playing in Nigeria, probably getting call-ups for other team side in Africa and around the world.
All right, in case you're wondering why we are called the yellow and greens, time will get to tell you, but yellow reminds us of sunlight and the passion, knowing that our strength comes from the heavens, and the greens reminds us of our nature and our vegetation. So that's why they're called the yellows and greens, talking about the cricket national team. All right, let's move on from the yellow and greens, from the Super Eagles, the Super Falcons. Nigeria has this knack of having very beautiful national team names. Let's move on to the Super Sand Eagles. Yes, that's the name of the Nigerian national team when it comes to beach football. They're called the Super Sand Eagles. In case Odi Samuel, Okon Basi, Samson, in case you've got the qualification, this is for you to know that the Nigerian Football Federation has opened a 3-day window for applications to fill the position of head coach for the national beach soccer team, otherwise known as the Super Sand Eagles. 9 days before the 2024 beach soccer AFCON qualifier against Mauritania, they also comes after the NFF made a move to revive the team after 5 years by setting up a committee to oversee the organization of local competitions and deal with all matters relating to the game. Meanwhile, Nigeria's last beach soccer coach, Audu Adamu Ejo, who led the team to their second Beach Nations Cup title in 2009, passed on in 2021. Very sad story after a brief illness. As contained in the NFF announcement, the application will favor candidates with at least a CAF License C certificate and those involved in beach soccer activities in the last 3 years, as well as playing experience locally and internationally. I don't know if Odi Samuel.
Well, I do go to the beach, but not for football.
Okay, now maybe you should start playing football at the beach. Who knows, someday you could be the beach national team coach.
I go to the beach, but not for football, but for something else. I could just sit and watch you play, but I don't think I have that.
Okay, usually you would not go alone.
I wouldn't go alone. Okay, no. Why would I go to the beach?
We can imagine who is going to the beach with. All right, let's move into the next talking point. This is talking other big sports. Let's tell you that ahead of the 10th edition of the Under-18 Women's Handball Championship in China, coach of Nigeria's Under-18 Women's Handball team, Adewumi Shitu, says his side is motivated to give a good account of themselves. Meanwhile, the championship is scheduled to take place between August 14th and 25th in Chuzhou, with Nigeria making its debut after several failed qualification bids. Let's also let you know that Nigeria are logged in Group B alongside the European giants Croatia, Montenegro, and also we've got Angola in that group who failed to coach Agbola's side in the third place March in the 2023 African Under-18 Women's Handball Championship in Monster, Tunisia, with preparations set to hit full swing. Let's let you know that Shitu, who guided the team to the second place finish at the IHF Trophy Series, while penning a heartfelt appreciation message to the board of the Handball Federation of Nigeria. Said his side were motivated ahead of the championship. Let's look at the handball, not so much a very popular sport, but Nigeria, after several attempts to qualify, finally is going to the Under-18 championship in China, and we're facing very tough opponents in no small feat. We're talking about European giants in Croatia, Montenegro, and Angola. How does this experience, favor Nigeria?
Well, we are not so keen, but one thing, we have this resilient spirit of always wanting to go out and then, make it happen and then make it rain, come back with a W. So now, I don't know if we tend to look at it very well. Like these international communities, whenever they hear the word Nigeria, they just tend to, pile us up with tough opponents because they know whatever you bring to Nigerians, we are going to scale through. So this is the first time it's happening, and I'm sure for them to be able to have tried and worked so hard to get to this level, I'm sure mentally they have prepared themselves for these countries, Croatia, Angola, and I'm sure they might have been watching them to see how key and how, how far they've gone in terms of experience and all. And then they are definitely going to pick out a few things out and see how they can capitalize on advancing in the competition. So with all of this happening now, I think it's going to be a welcome opportunity if they can get to, scale through the group stages and then get to the quarterfinals. I think that would be a win for them going for the first time. But I'm sure they have it in their mind that they want to just get to China and not just come back home without, having any significant impact in the competition. So it's welcoming, it's a welcoming development, and this also opens rooms for other kids, other ladies, and male players as well to get involved with all of these sporting activities, because at the end of the day, it's just going to help improve the sporting activities in Nigeria, locally and internationally.
All right, well said. We wish our darling team the very best as they go to China to prove their mettle against other world champions, especially Croatia, Montenegro, and African brothers Angola. Wishing Shitu and his world 18-year-old all the very best. Go there, kick some butts there, and come back with the medal there. All right, let's move on. We're still talking mixed martial arts, combat sport this morning, as we let you know that Nigerian knockout specialist, his name is Matthew Obina, will face unbeaten Albanian Alban Meta for the vacant World Boxing Organization Global Light Heavyweight title. That is going to happen today at Albania. Let's also let you know that Matthew, boasting an impeccable record of 23 wins, all by KO, that's knockout, is set to challenge Meta, who holds an impressive 16 wins, 12 by knockouts, and 1 draw. The bout promises to be a thrilling clash between two undefeated fighters aiming to claim the prestigious title. The fight will be held in the iconic Standardberg Square, a historic and symbolic location in the heart of Albania capital, providing a grand stage for these high-stake encounter. Meanwhile, Nigerian KO specialist Matthew battles for the WBO title, and fans are eagerly anticipating the showdown as both fighters have demonstrated formidable prowess in the ring, with Matthew's perfect knockout record and Meta's a solid performance in his professional career is up for grabs. Looking at Matthew Obina, you could see this guy is not just his street, like Alexander Usyk of the heavyweight category. This is someone who has seen all form of hardship. He's been on the streets. He's going to knock this Albanian man and knock him silly. 23 knockouts is no mean feat.
Let me take your word. Let me borrow your word. Knock him off his canvas. 23 defeats, coming via knockout. So this guy probably
Albania has just 16 knockouts.
Just 16 knockouts, 23. So he's more experienced, and then he knows when it is that he's going to go for the kill, when he just smells blood.
And when you travel from Nigeria to Albania,
the distance now.
The distance.
the queue for fuel.
You're not going to come back empty-handed.
You won't come back empty-handed.
Like we say in Nigeria, we died there.
So looking at the whole stress and everything, him working out, maybe after leaving the gym, he doesn't have fuel in his car. He'll go queue. So he'll remember all of those things.
Did you say car? Because in Lagos, it's really stadium. When I cover sports there for Brilla, when you see those boxers, there's no joy.
There's no joy. They always
if you see what they eat,
they're always running the staircase.
Running the staircase.
Yes.
If you see what they swallow and eat, agege bread
and going.
So after eating that stuff, they go boxing. Their gloves are rickety, so they are training with hard knock. Everything is hard knock. Their knuckles you could see the bone protruding. So the Albanian,
just get ready. You know,
you're going to get the best of him.
He's just going to get the best of him. But Obinna is actually very, very strong. Aside from the natural, the
and he's got skill. He's swift and skillful in terms of his punching skills
and body movement.
Yes,
Footwork.
Thank you. Footwork reminds us of Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather. When he dances like the great Muhammad Ali, he's got the footwork.
Yeah, he got the footwork. Not just even talking about Muhammad Ali, talking about Mike Tyson, who is
Iron Mike,
punch. Which one punch is just like
one bag of cement.
One bag of cement. Imagine that, God. And someone will keep his face for.
That's why they don't last. They last in seconds.
They don't last in seconds. You know, he tends to finish up with guys in first round.
Why people are still entering the
arena. So at some point they have to tell Mike Tyson to make it interesting, not just knock people out because they are not making delayed. Maybe
because
finish
people
it off.
Pay money
Before
for
all of that. So I think Obinna is on that part, and then he needs to calm down, make it interesting. Play around with the person, give him hope before knocking him out. And for Obinna now, this is just so much. We are hoping to see him 24,
become a champion,
WBO champion, and as well as he gets ready for coming competitions which might be happening September or October down here in Nigeria. But the more we get the information, we're just going to bring it all out.
All right, this is also to let you know that we're still looking ahead of the president's belt that will be hitting Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory. Time not certain yet, as Mr. President is keen on this championship, talking about the Awila boxing promotions that are bringing on that president's belt, which is going to be fantastical. And I will be giving you updates as it comes as regards that championship night. We know that Oshoba, your chick from Nigeria, will be facing Simwaka of Malawi. It's going to be a big one. And we've got the dynasty of the Marvin Hagler family, the grandson James Hagler will be coming and will be facing the might of Tosin, who is also be coming from the UK. A lot of fantastic pugilists and boxers who will be storming Nigeria. So we'll keep you updated when that comes. All right, while we're waiting for that, let's go to the world of wrestling. All the stories coming courtesy of this Samuel. Combat. He tells you how combative he is. All right, just to let you know that the head coach of Nigeria's female wrestling team, Purity Aku, has expressed satisfaction with the performance of Nigerian wrestlers at the Spanish Grand Prix in Madrid, Spain. The contingent is now in Germany for their final campaign ahead of the Olympic Games in Paris, France. The wrestlers who participated in the pre-Olympic tournament secured 2 bronze medals. Esther Kolawole, 62 kilograms, and Ogun Sonya Christina, 53 kilograms, both clinched bronze for Team Nigeria. In the semis, Ogun Sonya defeated her U.S. counterpart, Bryant Gonzalez, with a dominant 10-0 victory. Nowhere to compete, while Kolawole triumphed over her Sweden's Johanna Lindberg with a 8-0 win. Clean one again. A 3-time Commonwealth champion, Odunayo Adekuroye was edged out on technical grounds, losing to Norwegian Otili Hole in the quarterfinals. Very sad commentary because she is our medal hope, Adekuroye. She's been fantastic, but you could see she lost on technical grounds and not on the mats proper. So it means the technicalities is something the coaches have to work on, and she has to be up to date with technical matters as we go to the Olympics. So, all right, well, for you wrestlers, Dan Agali, who did compete for Canada, but later came back to Nigeria to unearth great wrestlers. How confident are you about the wrestling team Nigeria when it has to do with the wrestling?
Well, they're all evolving. They've not been on their best for the past few years. But from this year, I'm very excited for the results we've been getting from, not our athletes this year, from every sector.
It looks like Paris is going to be a good hunting ground for us.
Thank you. It's going to be good hunting ground for us. And then it's also going to expose these guys to more opportunities for other maybe private investors and other international communities that,
want to invest into the sporting defense sport. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just pay attention to them. So at least they are beginning to find, those errors, those loopholes where they are not doing right, and then they are beginning to like patch it in and then do well. So talking about technicality now, the coaches now need to
work on it
apart from the fact that these guys are strong and they can, beat you silly and then win the competition with just ease, but they need to work on technicality, because you can't keep winning and then when it's time for you to get the medal, just due to a few technical errors, you just end up losing up everything. So the coaches need to pay attention to those. And for the athletes now and for the wrestlers, this is just amazing, because from January till date, we've not been sad in those aspects. We've all been smiling because these guys have been going everywhere, home and abroad, making us proud. So we are hoping to get lots of medals from Paris this season.
All right. Also, they're also having a groove and tour from Spain. They're heading to Germany, enjoyment, chilling.
They don't know they are fail queues over here.
While they're also working their butts out, getting set to do us proud. So enjoy the moment as you hustle. We'll go for a quick break. When we return from this break, it's going to be non-stop action with another 25 minutes of non-stop action, giving you all the big stories in the world of transfer news and also football and other stories in between. Stay with us after this quick break.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
All right, welcome back. You still talk sports on Global Television, and it's time for us to look at all the big transfer stories making the rounds already. Yesterday, we told you how Manchester United is looking at securing some deals for the team ahead of their new season. And Victor Osimhen is one player we're hoping would finally probably make it to Manchester United, Arsenal, or one of these Premier League sides so that we can watch him in close view. All right, let's begin from this transfer news that tells us about a Nigerian midfielder, his name, Wilfred Ndidi, who has turned down a contract offer from Spanish club Sevilla, expressing his preference to remain in the Premier League. And Ndidi's interest to remain in English top flight now positions Everton as a potential destination for the Nigerian international. The Toffees have shown significant interest in bolstering Schweinsteiger's squad this summer, with Ndidi emerging as a prime target, having left Leicester City at the end of last season as a free agent. Ndidi's availability represents a smart business move for any interested club. According to Estadio Deportivo, Sevilla extended a contract offer to Ndidi, but the midfielder opted to wait for the perfect offer, one that would keep him in England. For Everton, this development is timely, especially with the uncertainty surrounding the Amadou Onana's future at Goodison Park. Onana is linked with potential exit and has been vocal about seeking opportunity elsewhere. Should Onana depart, Ndidi would be an ideal replacement, offering defensive solidity and experience without a transfer fee, and that is common sense. And but looking at Wilfred and the Everton style of play, do you think he's going to flourish there?
Yes, obviously he is, because it is not just this kind of midfielder that just sits back. He's not just stationed in that number 4 position. You know, he moves. He plays like Paul Scholes in a way, because, you know, Paul Scholes plays the number 4 position, and then he always advances, and then he can also
gives killer passes.
So that's the same style of play with Everton, and I know he's going to fit in well, because he's very amazing. He's very clinical and very tactical.
Yeah, he scores goals also.
He scores goals also from range, like from wide range, which is very, very key for
like Sunday Olise too. I think they have something similar
with Sunday Olise too. So I think it's very key. I'm very happy, you know, that he's deciding to stay back in England, because Sevilla, they didn't do so well last season, yeah, right? True. So it's just more like him going there to struggle, you know, after struggling with Leicester, getting them back. True. You know, for me, I would have suggested he stayed for one more season with Leicester, but, you know, he has his reasons why he wants to leave. But I would strongly advise that he stays back in England, because that would increase his market value as a free agent.
All right, let's wish Ndidi the very best. Just like we're enjoying the very best of Euro 2024, we're also enjoying the very best of Copa America, but it turned ugly yesterday, where 10-man Colombia defeated Uruguay 1-0 to reach the final of the Copa America for the first time in 23 years after an ill-tempered semi-final. On Wednesday, a 39th minute Jefferson Lamar header sealed a victory for the Colombians, who will now face holders Argentina in Sunday's final in Miami. The semi-final, which was played in front of a packed and passionate crowd, ended with scuffles on the field and fighting in the stands, including several players who had climbed in among supporters amid flying punches. Meanwhile, Colombia, despite having Daniel Munoz sent off just before the interval and facing plenty of Uruguay pressure, hung on for a famous victory to the delight of their massive following fans. The win was the 28th game without defeat for Colombia, setting a new record for the team. The downtown streets of North Carolina City were packed with partying fans in bright yellow Colombian jerseys hours before the kickoff. Not surprisingly, in such an atmosphere, Colombia started strongly with their live-wire Liverpool winger Luis Diaz doing well to wriggle some space for a cross onto the left, finding Daniel Munoz at the back post. But the fullback's header was off target, but at the end they did win that game. For Colombia, you think they deserve victory? They've always been a good team in South America.
They've always been a good team, and then I think this is coming from a very, very long past 2 decades now. They've not been able to get to this the stage of the competition. That means it shows that they've done their homework, and then despite the fact that they were 10 man down, one man down.
No, 1 man down.
So they were still able to, you know, secure a win against Uruguay. So these guys are very great, and the Uruguayan team, they are very strong. But I think it wasn't just their night. Despite the red card and having a 1 man down, they were still able to look for that loophole, and then they covered up, scored, and then defended all through. So congratulations to Colombians, and let's see if Argentina will lay them off. But I don't know why they have to take the finals to Miami. I guess they are trying to favor Messi this time around.
But let's look at the next story about Liverpool star Darwin Núñez and other Uruguayan players getting involved with a brawl with Colombian fans. Was that good enough on the part of Uruguay? Yes, it's painful when you lose, but fighting the fans. How would you describe the organization of Copa America? This is very sad for teams to get involved with the fans.
Well, it's sad. It's not good for all of that to happen. It's not welcoming. Football is a loving game. Sports generally is a loving game. It unites people together. But what happened, what led to this? I think the players now had to like step in to protect their families. That's what the full story says. Because I think after the win, they were probably, you know, the Colombian fans were probably, you know, saying harsh words or trying to get physical with the families of the players. So the players now had to step in to defend their family and the fans.
But wasn't that wrong? The players are supposed to be taken straight into the tunnel. There's supposed to be security for families and friends of players and national team, not the players going to, because that will put them at
risk.
True. Risk.
I think they should be, just like in NBA and in basketball, I think they usually create a place for
buffer zone
for families and very close friends.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be with the fans, because automatically, if you are a player and then you are a celebrity, automatically that means they would by default they will know your family members, they'll know your kids, right? Definitely. Because they'll always be in your space. So
and
now
the spotlight is already on them.
The spotlight is already on them. So naturally, like there's nothing you can do about that. So they just created a place, because we know how it can get over there in America, gun violence.
It's almost like in what happens in Africa.
Yes. Yeah. So looking at that now, for those angles now, they just had to like they need to create something like that. So
probably will hold the organizers responsible.
Yes, the organizers now
what played out.
Yes, need to be held responsible for what played out, because at this point now, not just the players being at risk, but the families as well, and then the reputation of the league, of the entire league now is going to be questioned now. For next season now of this competition, they'll still have to like put all of these factors on the table for the next country that would want to host, which might not, you know, play out well for them, and they'll say you don't have XYZ preparation ready, and then there's no how we can give you the go-ahead to host such a competition.
All right, let's get back to the Euros as we wrap up the program. Let's look at Manu, how instrumental Manu was last night for England, and also Watkins scoring that late winner.
You know, records were broken and new ones were set. Just day before yesterday, Yamal, the youngest player who scored, and again
16 years and 362 days.
So on Sunday now he's going to be 17. So he would be at 17, breaking, you know, setting on that new record, yeah. You know, playing at the finals. And then if he gets to score a goal, that means it's just going to be amazing for him, for his career as well, and then a whole lot of eyes will be on him. So looking at Oli now, Oli, congrats to him. You know, despite not playing in all of the competition, he didn't even break a sweat to score the goal. He didn't do much work. The ball was just coming to him, and then he was at the right time. He was in the right place.
But I think the trick was the fact that he was able to he was backing the post quite well. He shielded the defender. I think the wrong of the defender was staying behind the attacker, so he laid on him, and once he made that turn, what he needed to do was just fire at the post.
Yeah, what he did,
his awareness was great.
Yes, you know, that's another thing, technicality now. Pitch awareness is very, very important. And again, knowing where he was is key. And then why he did that was to put himself onside. Yes, because if the defender was in front of him, automatically he's going to be flagged off. So he had to leave the defender behind him, and then the defender thought he would want to like get the ball and then try to turn, but he gets in the ball. He
didn't turn this way. He turned the other way.
Yes, so
he like direction. He caught the defender
unawares, and then he took the strike with his weaker foot even. So that's more like what Drogba does during his days.
Thank you. That's a Didier Drogba goal.
That's a Didier Drogba goal. So him doing that is just shows like he has been preparing and been working, you know, for opportunities like that. So it came at the right time. He took it, and then he scored the goal. So congrats to him for setting another record. So this is what, you know, Euro is all about.
Can we blame this the Dutch goalkeeper for that ball beating him from near range?
You can the ball. You know, we watch
because obviously he saw the attacker and the defender, so it's not like he was unaware of the ball coming.
You know, the spin now was something that tricked both the goalkeeper and
because he beat him to the far right,
yes,
not his close right. So one would have expected he would have parried the ball
far, but now he didn't do that because he was able to beat the defender with just that turn. You know, one move can actually can just scatter, change everything. So that was what happened yesterday. That was very smart of Oli, and then the goalkeeper and defender were his bait. So he used them properly, and then he got his desire.
All right, let's wrap it up with the talk about Dutch fans being fuming. Were insisted they were robbed by a controversial penalty decision in their 2-1 semi-final loss to England on Wednesday night. The Netherlands had gone in front after 7 minutes through Xavi Simons, but England came back into the game, and the penalty 11 minutes later, Bukayo Saka slumped into the box before having his shot blocked, and the follow-up dropped to Harry Kane, who fired over the bar before being caught by Denzel. Do you think that was a penalty or not?
You know, from the images I saw up close,
for me, it was a penalty because Harry Kane had hit the ball before Denzel put his leg.
Before the contact happened.
Before the contact.
So he wasn't having possession of the ball. So at that point now, there was nothing like...
So the Dutch fans,
yes, I think
they shouldn't be crying, right?
Yes, they shouldn't be crying because one, there's something we call, you know, you need to give the player space to land, even though he has played the ball, you know, to avoid injury. So if that happens, automatically that's a foul. But for Bukayo Saka, the ball did hit his hand in the 18-yard box. So the referee has other questions.
Okay, that's where the fans
yes, were furious about, and then they said they called that a penalty. From the images I saw up close, that's definitely a penalty.
Okay, so controversy, that's why we like the game of football, but we can't but talk about this team that is Odie's first love, talking about the Blues. We don't want to talk about Virgil van Dijk because he's saying the officials should be held responsible.
Accountable.
Is Virgil van Dijk being real? Is he being honest, or he's just not accepting the fact that his team got beaten?
You know, if your team gets beaten and then you then see one mistake, you would capitalize on that mistake and say, this is the main reason why we lost, right? So I think that is what Van Dijk
at 1-1, why didn't they score the second goal?
Why you even scored first? Why didn't you score another goal to have a security that yes, yes, we have the lead, a proper lead. A 1-0 lead is not a lead. You know, a 1-0 lead is not a lead.
But would you judge of officiating as fair or good or not good enough?
I think the fans complained, and again FIFA did their own investigation. I think the officiating was okay because obviously it was the semi-finals, and they wouldn't be giving cheap calls anyhow because you need to walk. It has to be a proper foul for you to get the whistle blown in your favor. So I think the referee did good.
All right, let's talk about Chelsea before we call it a wrap. Chelsea is in the news this morning. We're talking transfer business as Chelsea has shown interest in Borussia Dortmund's winger Karim Adeyemi, but he only wants Champions League football if he is to leave the Bundesliga side. Chelsea wants another versatile forward as well as a striker, and Adeyemi has been discussed, but the German international is understood to be unreceptive to a move to Stamford Bridge. The 22-year-old was one of the club's standout performance in their Champions League final defeat by Real Madrid at Wembley last month. For you, Adeyemi, he's a good player. We saw him at the finals. Do you think Chelsea can convince him to move? And is he the kind of player Chelsea needs? We're looking at £35 million for Karim Adeyemi.
Yeah, is he worth that amount? Yes, he's worth that amount. He has shown a level of he has shown us levels and then skillfulness. You know, he was very, very key and very, very essential for Dortmund getting to the finals to face the Galacticos in the Champions League final. Him saying he wants to remain in the championship, you know, wants to play Champions League. I think, well, obviously Chelsea are not there yet, but
But they've got the potential.
We've got the
Chelsea is a
potential.
big team.
Yes, Chelsea is a very big team.
Bigger than Dortmund.
Yeah, extremely, very, very bigger than Dortmund. But now he's just looking at the now. I think if he's looking at futuristic now plans now, I think if Chelsea are coming for him, he should take that opportunity and join Chelsea, because at some point now, if Chelsea finds their way back to the Champions League, hopefully by this season, I don't think they'll be going for him again. They might be looking for someone else who is...
Unless he sets the Bundesliga on fire this coming season.
Then he must do something very spectacular for Chelsea to want him to return back for him. But at this point, Enzo Maresca is trying to pick out key players who can be very, very effective for his plan for Chelsea next season. And he fits in well because he's very swift and good with the ball.
22,
young as well.
Could grow in
Chelsea.
He
could grow in Chelsea. So this is someone, I think Enzo Maresca is looking for younger guys that he can build the team around. Right. If you look at the whole signing that has been going on lately with Tosin Arebo and the rest of them that he has been going for. So he's looking for younger guys that he can build the team around. So with Adeyemi now, I would say, just take the leap of faith and come to Chelsea.
All right, that's what we're going to take a leap of faith and say this is what we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program, Talk Sport. We want to say a big thank you to Odi Samuel for compiling all the big stories we shared this morning and doing the yeoman's job of the analysis. And my name remains Anthony Momodu, the King of Sports. A special thanks to the entire production team who made us come out good and gave you all the big stories making the rounds in the world of sport. Let's do this again tomorrow as we look at the weekend and get into the weekend with a shout and with so much joy, knowing that on Sunday there's going to be two great matches across the world. We're going to be having the Copa American finals where Argentina will be facing Colombia. Big encounter. And not forgetting Euro 2024 draws to end on Sunday, where the Three Lions of England face the Spaniards in an epic final for who becomes the champions of Europe. All this and more is what we'll be looking at on Friday as we x-ray the weekend in the exciting world of sport. Good morning.